In this lesson, we're gonna see how we can create some collectible object, in this case some key, and with the help of signals we can communicate with the player and allow the player to collect our key in the screen. Here we are. Today we're gonna explain how we can use signals and area2D to make more nodes communicating between each other. So first thing first, I want to clear a little bit my node tree over here by taking this node, the player node. We can actually group into a scene, because a scene is a collection node. This is a scene we have for nodes, but a scene can also has other scenes, since the scenes are nodes. If I take my player and I drag and drop into my scene, I can save it as a player. We're gonna reset position, rotation and scale if you want, but it's not needed right now. So if I save it and I open my scene by clicking this button over here, you open a scene. There's a new tab is gonna happen over here. This is our player scene. So it's exactly the same. I have the script, I have these things. So it's a handy way to make this one a little bit more clear, and also in the future maybe we want to create new players or new spaceship, and all of these things will happen dynamically without us to add a lot of nodes in the scene, but we will do it by code. So let's say now we have this scene. We're gonna create a new scene. Now I told you that we can start with the node 2D, but for this scene we want to start actually with the new node. It's the area2D. These area2D nodes, it's actually very helpful. It's used to understand if something is going over the area. Now we're gonna see what it means. If we have if we hover over here, we have a documentation. We click, we're gonna have all the information related to it, and it's a region of 2D space defined by the collision shape or collision polygon, exactly like our character body 2D. And it detects when collision objects 2D enter or exit. So it's very handy. It's what we're looking for right now. So our area2D is asking for a classic collision shape 2D. We know already how to do it. We're gonna add a collision shape 2D, and we're gonna add also let's say a circle shape. So this is our area. We want to give some graphics to this. We have balloons, let's say balloons maybe, or all these are enemy or keys. Let's take, okay, let's get a key. I don't know why a key should be in space, but if we drag and drop the key, we're gonna have it over here. It's very big. We scale it, position, let's say 0, 0, we scale, oops, 0.2, and if I go down with my arrow, I can try to increase, decrease, 0.1, 0.05. Now let's make 0.02. Okay, so this is our key. We want to collect key in space. Our shape is not really helpful, because I was planning to have a balloon before, but I don't really like it. Let's make a key. So let's go over here, and we can change our circle shape just clicking over here, and we decide to use maybe a capsule. Now we're gonna shape our capsule shape in this way. We make roughly the size of the key, maybe a little bit of border. We can control, we're gonna move, or we can move like, okay. So this one is our shape. We can save the scene, that inside scene, and we call it key Now that we have this scene, we need a script. So let's move on with the script. We create a script. Inside scripts, we're gonna create a key.gd script template. We can leave it empty and we can create our script. Now, before touching the script, I want to show you that if we go in this tab over here, we have signals. Signals are different for every node and they inherit from different classes. So this one inherits from collision objects, and our player sprite has a area2D, and all of this one, they communicate that something trigger an event and the signal is supposed to be sent. In area2D, we have this area2D, so another area is entering or exit, or in case of our player, we want to use a body, a node2D. So any kind of node2D, remember that even if it's a character 2D, it will inherit from node2D. So if it's a character body 2D, it's also a collision object 2D, it's a node2D, a canvas item, and a normal node. In this key, we want to have our body entered. So if I double click, this window is gonna open and it says like, well, which method will receive this signal? So a signal will be triggered, but something needs to happen, something has to be called. We can choose which node we want, but since we have a script on area2D, I usually recommend to don't communicate with other things like straight to the player because it can create problem. But this is a little bit more advanced. If we say, okay, we can leave it on body enter, but I want to change it to actually on player entered. So I know that this thing is gonna happen only when the player enter. It's just like a way to communicate. On body enter, I change it to player entered. We keep this underscore because in coding language you usually write underscore when a method is local to the script and not a global can be called from other script. Once we've done that, we can also have the advanced tab. So in the advanced tab you can pass argument if you want, or you can specify what kind of signal, but this one is for later. Right now, just let's move on with the classic. We connect and a new function has been created for us over here. So we have the basic function, the extension, and the function that this signal just created for us. We know that the signal is connect because there is this sign over here. If we click it, it says like, okay, is the source, so who is sending the signal is emitting a signal, and the target is who is receiving the signal. So the function itself is receiving the signal. This class itself is going to receive a signal. I'm triggering a signal on myself. Now if we move on, we have a body. This is our argument that has been passed. It just name is just to let us understand what is passing by, and this is the type of node that we're passing. So you can also take it out. I don't think it's going to work because the signal pass a node2D. So moving on, we can check if something happened by just typing if the body has a name of player. So here is player. If the body has a name of player, this body over here is called player. We can trigger something. Let's see, we can just print key collected, and whatever now happening, whenever the player entered this node over here, a signal will trigger and a method will be called. We're gonna try now in our main scene. So we save the key over here. We can just now drag and drop What's happening? Oh, it's very, very small. Okay, so this is my bad because I didn't work on the main scene. Let's say that the sprite is gonna be 0.5 right now. No, it's too big. 0.2, and we're gonna adjust our collision shape. We can invert so we can see it, or we can also just hide right now this one. So this is our collision shape. We make it the size of the key roughly. Now if I go over here, this is our massive key in the endless space. And let's call the name key. Maybe you want more key across the screen. You can, as usual, drag and drop, or you can Control D and duplicate your key. You move it, you have more key. Now if we run the game, we have the key, and every time I get in, my key is collected. You see? So I get in, the key is collected. We can also try to script which key is collected. Key collected is, and you plus, and you just type name, and it's gonna take automatically the name of the node that has the function. Now if I run my game again and I move, key collected is key2. Is this over here? This one was original one, so it should be key. Oh, it's area2D. Oh, it's this one over here. The name didn't change because we'll say it later. But now that we saw this one, is how do we understand that like this key is collected? We need to trigger something. We want to delete this node in somehow. So there are different ways to delete the node. I will suggest to use, we have free and Q3. Oh. Q3. So the Q3 is the safest one, because when you clear a node, this one wait for the frames to be updated, and it's not gonna crash or create any error when it's gonna delete the node, because maybe something is happening and you're deleting the node before all the process is done. Now if I go through, our key is collected and they disappear. They're not there anymore. You can see if I look at my remote, I have only my player because we just delete the key. One thing as a pro tip, as a something that you should know as a game designer, there is a thing, because right now every object can enter in contact with this area. So if we're gonna look at our area, we have under collision object D a collision tab. There is two parameters, is layer and mask. The layer, it's telling you what am I, who am I. Meanwhile the mask is gonna tell you like what I'm looking for. It's a little bit complicated to understand sometimes, but let's say the player, we have a collision object as well. The player is the layer number 1, so is layer number 1. We can also edit our layer names, and we can say the player, the layer number 1 is called player. Let's write it down like that. So if I don't have this one, I can click here and tell, okay, you are layer 1, you are the player. And what I'm looking for a key or a collectibles, and our key layer right now is set to player as well. If I hover, it's player. We don't want that the key is a player. We can say, okay, maybe layer 2 can be a collectible. So we go on edit layer name, write collectibles. This is a group practice to do. So we write collectibles, and if I start now, it's not gonna happen with this key because we change the layer. We know who we are, but we don't know what we're looking for. So here our spaceship is looking for a collectible. If I start now again, I can collect all the key. No, I need to specify also in my key what it's looking for. So this key one over here, and now if I go over, it's gonna disappear and it's gonna be deleted. This is very important, because if you have enemy and you want the player that only works with enemy and die with enemy, or die with I don't know, weapons or turrets, or you want that the player collects something and the player doesn't, these things over here is very useful. It's an extra check that you can do beside of our on player entered, because we can also omit this part over here now, since they are in the same layer, so they know what they're looking for. And I start now, everything happen again, even if I change the name to my player to PP. So now I have, let's say, PP, and I start the game, everything works without any problem. So let's revert it back, player and oops, and player, so right now everything that we have to know about signals and collectible. It's funny to collect objects, give it a try, it's gonna have so much fun, but without enemies the game is gonna be a little bit boring. So in the next tutorial we're gonna add some enemy that are chasing the player or are moving toward the screen, and the player just need to avoid them. And let's see how we can do it, and how we can spawn maybe the key in a random location across the screen. So if you like the tutorial, just follow me and subscribe or like my video. It will be very helpful. Thank you, and see you on the next lesson.